broadcasting live from the Business Radio X studios in Houston, Texas. It's time for Houston Business Radio. Now, here's your host.
Hello, Houston. Trisha Stetzel here, bringing you another episode of Houston Business Radio. Today's guest is Andrew Bolton, CEO and co-founder of Tech Rescue LLC, a 24/7 tech support and cybersecurity company helping seniors, families, and small businesses across the U.S. stay connected and protected. Andrew is a Harvard finance graduate with a background in Wall Street and private equity. He is building a company that puts people before profit, offering real help from real humans in a world overwhelmed by automation and disregard. Andrew, welcome to the show.
Thank you. You make it seem like I'm actually a very nice person. No, I have an Irish Catholic mother with a rolling pin with dents in it. So I have to behave.
Oh my goodness. I knew this was going to be a great conversation. I'm so excited to have you on. So, Andrew, you just gave us a little bit of insight into who you are, but tell us a little bit more about yourself, and then let's dive into what Tech Rescue does for other human beings.
Let's see. We can give it really quick. I went to school. I followed exactly what everybody said to do. I went to school. I went to work. I went to grad school. And then what? Then COVID happened, and then, everything else spiraled out of control. And then one day, just serendipity came. My father asked, "How do you forward an email?" And I said, "Dad, for Pete's sakes." And for everybody, I got a little show and tell. My father, God love him, is 78 years old. He went to college at Hofstra back in the late 60s. Now, for anybody who doesn't know what this is a card system. This, you hear that? That's paper. That's paper. That's cardstock. This is what a computer used to be. For all of you people that don't know what paper is, who've never seen paper, this thing used to be stacked in the thousands, fed through a machine, and these little itty-bitty holes would then be programmed into the machine, and then your calculations will be run based off of the sequence of the cards. Now, God forbid you misplaced one card, missed a card, misshuffled a card. These stacks were in the hundreds or thousands per equation, depending on what you were using it for. Now you can just ask Google or AI or anything else the same thing, and it tells you in milliseconds.
Yeah.
That's
crazy.
how fast we've come.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It like lightning speed to get where we were, not just 40, 50 years ago to where we are today. Yeah.
So to give a perspective, if anyone has ever had their cell phone as a teenager, if you're a teenager, you grew up with a cell phone, you understand the ideal concept and what we would call relative speed of technology, right?
Mhm.
At a certain point, we have basically measured that technology advances every year by about 5 years now. So if we're starting from the first sets of computers that were used to launch the rocket into space in the 1960s, every compounding year up until about the invention of the internet was on a granular linear basis.
Mm-hmm.
When we went connected, we started jumping, and we're about every 5 years in technology. Companies are outpacing themselves. That's why we're going through so much, is we're creating new prototypes at massive rates. It's no wonder seniors don't have the ability to constantly keep up. We have AI, we have goggles, we have complete systems in our homes that can surround us and make us feel virtually wherever we want to be.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, absolutely. So we were talking about this before. Our seniors are actually a little more technical than we think they are. So let's talk about that.
So right off the bat, Grandma and grandpa aren't what we remember as grandma and grandpa. It's not like going to grandma's on your bike and going down to the lake and there's the barbecue and the egg toss. No, 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 no. We've come to the age where that demographic, the great generation, those who served in the 1940s and 50s in Korea, they've slowly started going towards the assisted living facilities and nursing homes and end of care life facilities. So what we've seen is the shift of demographic that now what would be urban considered unk and auntie are now grandma and grandpa. The average American female in the United States is statistically around 48 years old and a grandmother.
Wow.
48 years old and a grandmother. Plus 18, that puts you at
Mhm. Yeah. What year? 76.
exactly.
Yeah.
And guess what? I hate to say it, with the fact that we have at-home equipment, access on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook to health and jazzercise classes, and we kept keeping together. I know it's cliche to say, but 65 is not 65 anymore. 40, 65 is 45 now.
Yeah. That's crazy. And I can't do math. So if anybody's listening to the math that I was doing, don't make fun of me. It's okay.
So what we're seeing is the type of questions that we're getting are video games. So we're not really seeing, thanks to a lot of things in the news that, thankfully, children are not getting access, out of school immediately. So a designated person has to pick them up. It's usually a parent. So what we've seen is the uptick since even last Christmas, where it was almost 20% of the GDP was coming from senior purchasing and technology, is that seniors are buying video game consoles. And you can go to your local Walmart. A 65-inch plasma screen TV doesn't cost no more than about $400. A PS5, not the top end models, but a lower end model, a PS5 will cost you maybe 500-600. So you get a couple of games, NBA, NFL, and we're getting calls on how to connect to their player name. So now they're connected online and they're playing baseball together. So instead of, I know it's weird to say, instead of actually going outside to play baseball, they're keeping communication with their kids playing, the rival games, Yankees and Boston Red Sox, Marlins and White Sox. This is how we are connecting, which led me to really dive into the numbers, is that at the end of the day, we as a species, and we keep forgetting this part, we're still a species. I know we have social media and we have opposable thumbs and we can send stuff into space, but we're a species. We all share the same chromosomes and DNA at some molecular level. We're all connected. We want to connect with each other. At the end of the day, that's all we want to do, is just connect with each other.
Mhm. So these seniors are calling you about video games. I'm dumbfounded, one, that
Mhm.
that they're
And
playing video
dating.
games.
And dating.
I love to hear that they're playing with their grandkids though. This is cool. I like
Mhm.
this connection, right? Where these
So
grandparents are able to connect with their grandkids.
So Sniper Grandpa is one of the top players on YouTube. He's been on numerous podcasts in regards to his subject matter in terms of his service and, his life experience and things like that.
Yeah.
But he's connecting with people around the world, and he's one of the top shots on the internet. There's there's Warhammer Granny, who there's a grandmother in the Warhammer community who's commanding a massive empire.
Oh my gosh. That is so funny. So grandparents are getting younger
Age is just a number.
and technology is changing so fast.
Mhm.
How are you, Andrew, keeping up? Tech Rescue LLC, how are you keeping up with assisting with technology when it moves so fast?
Well, luckily they come to us, so we get straight from the front lines exactly what's going on, which is why our data, when we write articles on LinkedIn, we hand out our information. We're not going to sell that data, because when I was in grad school trying to find EBSCO host, qualified data and articles was hard to do. And when we publish articles, we provide the data, that can go along with what we see. So that allows maybe a grad student to basically come up with a new question. See, this is the part that where I get upset, and I know I'm going to deviate from the subject for just for a quick second.
Okay.
Education is not about the facts and figures and numbers. It's the ability that we have to be able to teach the next generation how to ask new questions.
Okay.
That's it.
All right.
It's
I like it.
education.
Yeah. Okay.
We just have to ask different questions. So,
Okay.
with that being said, the new question that we found ourselves is, what's the new senior?
Mm.
The new senior is up, they're mobile, they have fiscal spending. The average American consumer has $1,300 in subscriptions. They are traveling more than any other demographic in our population. They're traveling 3 times more than they ever have. And yes, believe it or not, even with fiscal uncertainty, this generation has been solid enough to be able to extend some of their equity lines of credit, whether it's been home or portfolios, to help cover the cost of student loan debt. I believe I saw one part of the study said that 11% of almost all student loan debt being paid off is by grandparents.
Wow.
There is this massive amount of opportunity with this demographic because they want to stay active, they want to stay connected. They're making it apparent that they want to, and
Mhm.
they want to stay young, and we want to stay connected.
Don't we all? Like,
Yeah.
seriously. So I'm just gonna throw this out there. My
Mhm.
mom was a grandmother at 40.
Okay.
So I get this generational thing, right? Where our grandparents are so much younger. And I think it's really interesting how much tech comes into play here. And it's because it's all around us. It just is. You can't walk 10 feet without passing some kind of technology. All right, so let's go to the other side of things, the other end of the spectrum, and talk about youth in America and tech. And I know there's a lot of discussions around faces in phones. So our grandparents are doing it, and so are the youth of America. So tell me more about what you're learning in that space.
Unfortunately, some of the psychological studies are true. What we're finding is that the data showing us being connected in such a way has taken away from human connectivity.
Mhm.
So I don't want to be the dooming. I don't want to be that guy, but we have completely monetized human emotions, right? We have AIs that have been utilized on sites like OnlyFans, and I'm not trying to pick the argument for OnlyFans. There's a lot of different things out there, but we're just going to use this as an example. In the monetizational world, human interaction, and that's basically what it is the marketplace for human interaction with, let's just say, a theme. Now,
Mm.
in these particular themes, whatever you want to call them, video games or in-personal relationships, we're still paying for it. We're getting calls about how to send different payments and how to have these different prizes and gifts connected to certain accounts. So, because we're raising this post-COVID group, right? And this is where the data is getting really interesting because we're still pulling it now. This generation from the class of 2020 to 21, when the lockdowns went into effect, the ones who graduated just about the lockdowns, they're relatively fine. The classes of 2021 up until about 2025, we're seeing that in terms of the spending wise, this group in their most critical adolescent development years haven't interacted personally with each other. For example, in class, a 16-year-old boy sits across from a 16-year-old girl. hormones pumping throughout the entire classroom. That's an experience that you get used to. When you're working in an office setting or you're out in the real world, you're surrounded by the same type of environment. Hormones, and now most people are not at that age. They're even higher in terms of that scale. So for the first aspect, we've taken away that arena where we can practice interpersonal communication, interpersonal connections with each other in a real world setting. That's the classroom. The second aspect, and I know it's a funny way to talk about it, but you don't learn the subtle hints of flirting on a camera. You don't have that foot tapping your other foot or that pencil rolling off to the side so you can come down and pick her up. And then you see there's none of that. So what we're seeing is there's this uptick in usage in all these other channels of communication outside of real life. Why? Because we consequently built a funnel. We consequently built a funnel for it. We put kids in a classroom expecting that they were going to actually do schoolwork, and they were on their computers for what? Almost a year and a half, 2 years. Then we gave them another year and a half to come back to school if they wanted to, because then we were touch and go about it. So they spent 4 to 5 years doing what? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Distracted by their phones. Yeah.
This is going to be a problem because sadly enough, in our line of work, in our business, we can't hire. We get a lot of these applications to work in the call center. We can't use any of them.
Mm.
The reason being is our call center is a hotline. We call it a hot call. A hot call is anything frustrated, tired, cranky, all the wonderful things that you feel like, because you can't get the stupid thing to work. And I've tried a million times. Yes, dear. I've unplugged it, replugged it, turned it on, turned it off. It just won't do it. We get those calls. That's what we do all day long. It's not, and I can't blame them. It's not their fault. We didn't train them. We did not prepare them for life. Like, excuse me, I've been waiting in line for 20 minutes. How long does it take to pour a cup of coffee? We haven't prepared them for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I get the resumes. I get the interviews. We have a problem. We have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
We've got about 37 million kids with no real skills. So one of the things that I think that this generation, and we've been tossing around different ideas and trying to get groups together, is have the connection of these people, this generation that have lived through two world wars, Korea and Vietnam. How do we have technology. We can talk to anybody on the other side of the planet. I can pick up my phone and call any one of the people that I know in Botswana right now, and they'll pick up the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't do that 20 years ago.
Nope.
And here I'll tie it in because I know you want to get to it. AI. The genie is out of the bottle. AI is out of the bottle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. It's not going anywhere. We use it because when we're taking a look at hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of calls and data, I can't look at it fast enough, but AI can.
Yeah.
Same with when we had the internet. The genie's out of the bottle. So how do we make it work? And this is where I tie it into the education. We have an entire country structured on an educational system that was rudimentary and hasn't changed in almost 50 years. We now have the most powerful tool to have ever come into existence: artificial intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
When I say the way that we need to do education now is AI can read everything that has been ever printed in human history in less than a minute. We have the answers, all of them. We have all the answers. What's missing? The new questions. If we have all the answers that have ever been given in the history of the world, what do we not know? what we don't know. We now have come into this is important. We are now in the dawn of the informational breakthrough age. AI will break through quantum computing. AI will break through diseases. Once we figure out how to ask the new questions, think of it this way. Think of cancer. Think of every John Hopkins research paper ever done, every study ever done, every surgery ever done, every case ever looked at, everything that has been ever done at John Hopkins read in 30 seconds with a new question, and boom, we now have the understanding of how maybe a cell turns malignant and now turns cancerous because we asked a new question. Because there it is. Across 500 different radial scans, we can now see it because we asked the new question. We are in the beginnings of the dawning of the new age where we have all the answers. We're at the end of the line. We're at the end of the consensual mind of what do we know, right? Even Neil deGrasse Tyson said, we know what we know. Right? We know what we know. We now have the most powerful tool since the nuclear bomb, the splitting of the atom. The splitting of the atom was in the 40s. This is the new one. This is how we change everything. Not by doing the same thing, by asking a new question. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
We just solved the world's problems today, Andrew.
Pretty much, yeah. And you can do it. If you ask the right question, you might be able to.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's fantastic. So
because we have everything. We have created the tool to read everything that has ever been written. We have music being put on YouTube, artists who don't even exist. Why? Because they have an AI who can sing, an AI who can make a beat, an AI who can make lyrics, an AI who can make drums and guitar and piano. We have it all. We are in the dawning of everything. We have AI creating painters and pictures and stories and content. But guess what? It still needs a human to guide it. It still needs a human to control it. It still needs a human to ask. That's it. We are now with the most powerful tool that has ever been in existence since fire. Really, really, and truly since fire. With fire, we created communities. We gathered around the fire. With fire, we were able to cook food. With fire, we were able to explore because we were no longer afraid of the night. Fire was hot. Fire hurt. Fire burned. We controlled fire. Here we are. This is it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the dawning of everything to come. This is it. Within this decade, 2020 to 2030, this is the cradle in which all of the next 100 years is probably going to be determined in every way, shape, and form. Because with this tool, remember Oppenheimer, the movie? The moment that they solved that equation, they knew exactly what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And the worst part about it is, it's inevitable. Because we can't help ourselves. Which is why, as scary as that is to believe, which is why we exist as Tech Rescue, because at the end of the day, as curious as we are to create these things, we still want to connect to one another. We still want to talk to one another. At the end of the day, if we look at all the things that people call us about, emails, printers, faxes, Bluetooth, TV, everything, what is it really all coming down to? We play video games so that we can connect to a story, so we can be part of it and be part of a community. We watch football because we feel connected to that community and that team because it represents something to us. We are a community people. We are that. And this is why I laugh and I cry a little bit too when I see the news. It's like, we keep forgetting that. As much as we want to admit it, we're not a solo people. We're not a solo species. We're not sharks. Sorry, we're mammals. We like one another.
We do.
We like each other, believe it or not.
Well, and we thrive that way, and we crave to be around a community and have other people in our lives. And I know there are some people sitting listening to this today or even watching and saying, I don't like human beings. Well, you know what? There's a human craving to be around other people, and that's just the bottom line. You can't get past that.
So I would say to somebody that does not like any person, anywhere, any place, I would argue, who are the people that are hanging on the wall? And I would then ask, do you have everything delivered, or do you still go to that one place?
Mhm. Yeah.
Because I guarantee you it's probably not because of the pie.
Nope. It's the people.
It's the people.
It's the people. Andrew, oh my gosh, this has been such an invigorating conversation. I love everything that we've touched on today. There's so much more that we could talk about. However, we're at the end of our time. So, can you give our audience the best way to connect with you
Of
and
course.
the best way to get in touch with Tech Rescue if they need help from your business?
Of course. You can call us at 855-250-8586, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, including the Super Bowl. Yep, I know. I'm a Jets fan. Leave me alone. We're open. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. All right?
I
Leave me
love
alone.
it.
It's been a long run. It's been long. Or you could go visit us at www.techrescue.io. And I'll leave with this. Technology is a beautiful, beautiful thing. We have been able to completely change the world. First, second, and now going on third generational families who have come from wherever they have come from are able to talk to loved ones from around the world. Because we grew up in a time where to call grandma was like 90 cents a minute, or internationally was like $1.20 something.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. And our generation started moving away from home, right? And now you hardly see people sticking around in their hometowns. They're all migrating. We talked,
Mhm.
see, you're going to have to come back on the show because there's this whole conversation that we had before we started the show
Oh,
about migrating.
I gave her some inside baseball that hopefully will get me on the show. I have to keep it selling. See, ABC always be selling.
I love it. Andrew, thank you so much for being with me
Thank you so much
today.
for having me.
CEO and co-founder of Tech Rescue LLC. This has been so much fun. Can't wait to have you back so that we can have yet another very interesting conversation.
Thank you.
That's all the time we have for today. If you found value in this conversation, share it with a fellow entrepreneur, veteran, or Houston business leader ready to grow, or your favorite senior. And be sure to follow, rate, and review the show. It helps reach much more bold business minds just like yours. Your business, your leadership, and your legacy are built one intentional step at a time. So stay inspired, stay focused, and keep building the business and the life you deserve.